Hey everybody, welcome back to our Walking Dead reviews. This week we are looking at Season 9, Episode 5, the episode of the season that everyone's been waiting for. Rick Grimes' last episode, entitled What Comes After. With me as usual is Jason.
I can smell the money from here. Money for days.
Money for days. You know, there's some truth to that. It's funny. We're going to talk a little bit about this, and then we'll get into the episode, and then we'll talk again about the future here. In hindsight, this was obvious.
Yeah,
in
but
hindsight,
credit to where credit was due. You got half of it right. You know, somebody got taken off of the chopper. It just wasn't Maggie.
Yeah, so and that's another question as well. In the preview for the next 3 episodes, for the rest of this mid-season, we did not see any Maggie. So maybe story there, but okay. So right, Rick is off The Walking Dead. Rick Grimes is gone. The people of all the communities think he is dead. Up until I saw him at the riverbed. I thought he was dead for a few minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Rick Grimes is not dead.
No.
And in hindsight, like I said, this was obvious. Now, I didn't know what to believe going into this. Last week, you and I talked about it, and we both said we think he's going to die. This is obvious. So Rick Grimes is the most popular character to come out of anything AMC's been doing. There's an argument to be said for Walter White from Breaking Bad, but he's huge. He's a hugely popular character. We're going to get movies. As they said in Talking Dead, we're going to get some movies. We're going to get some AMC made-for-TV movies. Rick Grimes is going to be taken to a completely different area. He's going to be there with Anna. Maybe that lasts, maybe it doesn't, but he's going to be somewhere else. And with the time jump at the end of this episode being 6 years, there's not going to be any Rick Grimes between then and now. I think that's legitimate. We'll never see Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead again.
Yeah.
Now that's kind of weird because, that's why I think they had to do the whole thing where they, everybody thinks Rick is dead. Otherwise, they'd go searching for him.
Yep.
I don't, Rick doesn't have. Well, he's got Judith and he's got Michonne. Obviously, that whole community is very important to him. I don't quite know how you write that out. I guess it's there for motivation, but that it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But I have to say, honestly, I'm looking forward to Rick Grimes by himself being dropped into a completely different area who have no idea what this guy is capable of.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That sounds really intriguing to me.
I'm gonna take a wait and see approach, I'm not going to get too hyped up one way or the other about this. I know that Andrew Lincoln's got the acting chops, but, that's also putting a lot of faith in writers.
That's true. Now, what they announced on Talking Dead after this, and this is why I said it was kind of required viewing for this week. Normally we don't do that, is that Scott M. Gimple, he's the head of anything Walking Dead and AMC now. We're going to get made-for-TV movies with Rick Grimes. We're going to get miniseries telling short stories about the world of The Walking Dead. We're going to get more TV shows. Are they going to be continuous shows? Continuously running shows? Probably not. We're going to get things that are telling stories at the beginning of the outbreak. Stories that are going to be in the future, beyond anything that they're even in right now in the timeline. That is something that we had actually said, or at least I had said, I'm pretty sure you would agree, that's the kind of stuff they should be doing.
Yeah, sounds way...
That sounds what?
That sounds way more interesting.
It really does. They're going to blow up this world. They're going to show us this world. They're going to show us this whole world. They said a lot of this stuff will intersect. We're going to see stories from characters that have been killed, and kind of like prequel kind of things for them. That sounds very exciting. This all sounds really exciting, and I think it's the way they have to go at this point. I don't think Fear is going to make it more than a couple more seasons if it does at all. They're definitely not connecting with the main show now. That's obvious.
Yeah.
So Morgan and Pals kind of fell the huge flop to it, but we'll see. We'll see. I still don't think. I think the consensus between you and I is that we will not be reviewing Fear right now. I think it's going to take one hell of a trailer to bring us back for season 5.
Yeah.
And to say otherwise. But this whole TV movie miniseries thing, this sounds really cool.
Does sound very interesting. Yeah.
And before we get down to the breakdown of the episode, I really liked where they left things, that little preview they had at the end of the episode, and what we saw right after Rick gets taken away in the helicopter. That, we get to see Magna and her group as they're about to meet up with Alexandria. We get to see Judith Grimes, little kick-ass Judith Grimes. She's about the same age Carl was when the show started now.
Yep. Tiny Grimes ain't gonna take no back sass.
That's right. I have to say that they have done a very good job of really, I was really interested in seeing where they were a year and a half after the time jump, but now they just jumped 6 more years.
Yeah.
And I'm really, this actually does feel like a whole new reinvigorated world now.
Yep.
And to be quite honest, I don't even think you could have gotten that if Rick Grimes was still there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that one way or the other. But it certainly feels like they're trying to do as much as they can to make a positive spin on all the mainstay characters that have been leaving. Between Andrew Lincoln and Chandler Riggs, and the fact that they some of the other bigger characters like Maggie said they're going to be making their way off the show. The Walking Dead's been on a very long time, and actors, being the creative type that they are, get bored if they do anything for too long. So it sounds like a lot of them are slowly making their way off. So I think, if nothing else, they've done a very good job at making a positive spin off of that set of circumstances.
I think they've done a pretty good job of it. I agree. I think that they're taking their frown, they're turning it upside down. And now that I've said that, I'll give you. I'll never say that again because that was horrible. But my example is I just think that putting this show in its place that it is now, I don't think they could have done a much better job. And quite honestly, that's a compliment that I do not give The Walking Dead too much anymore. I've been giving season 9 a lot of compliments, but there was a lot to not be happy about with the 2 prior seasons. And but this has been, I would almost say, masterfully done.
Yeah, very well. It definitely is reminiscent of the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
As far as like getting at least engagement, excitement. It certainly has been fun to be like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen on The Walking Dead, instead of, oh, there's going to be another episode full of conversations in The Walking Dead.
Yep. So all that being said, let's get into this episode. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the scenario with Negan and Maggie. What do you think of that, and how that all went down?
I called that. I don't think she was going to kill him. Negan's such a at this point an iconic character for this series. And the actor who portrays him is such a strong personality that I think they're going to do everything they can to keep that kind of talent on the cast. So I didn't anticipate they were going to kill him off.
Right. Fair enough. I had made a mention about a later issue in the comics where Maggie finally does confront Negan, and that's about as close as what we got. We this was definitely a watered down version, but they hit the important notes of that confrontation, which is that Maggie finally catches up to Negan, and basically how it played out in this episode is how it played out there. Not exactly the same. In fact, I would say similar. Again, they hit the same notes, but it was actually quite a different scenario. I was glad to see that happen, especially with the coming and the going and the coming again of Lauren Cohen that's going to be in the show. I was worried they weren't going to be able to hit this. This was important. This needed to be resolved. And I'm glad they did it the way they did, and I thought it was a really good job, especially between just 2 really good actors. Given what they had, that whole thing played out really well. I thought they did a really good job. Jeffrey Dean Morgan just kicks ass as Negan. He's not my Negan. He's not the comic Negan, but he's a damn good TV show Negan. And just the whole scenario, and you've not seen Negan in a scenario. I mean, he's whimpering and he's crying and he's begging to get killed. And you get to see the truth of how he feels about the scenario, which played in perfectly with what we saw before. Was like he is just pushing every damn button, trying to get her to kill him.
Yeah, Negan has not done well since the glory days of the all-out war. It very much, and I don't know if this is. It's certainly in part due to the actor's ability, but the writing has definitely gone out of its way to portray him as more of a broken individual than I think. Especially than I expected. I expected Negan to be this defiant character until the end.
It is one of the most amazing issues from the comics, and it does stand alone. If you guys ever get a chance to, if you're ever interested in checking out Walking Dead comic, it is a single issue story arc where Maggie does meet up with Negan in the comics, and it is brilliantly done. It is worth picking up if you're not a comic fan, just to finally see that confrontation. It's done really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then you got all the stuff with Jadis and the helicopter, which, by the way, we never did get to see anything else that had happened. Not that, I guess, I don't know. Maybe we'll see how it all plays out with the Sanctuary and the Saviors and all that. And we got to see it play out with Jadis. So correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I misheard this. Unfortunately, did not get a chance to check this particular part of the show out again. When the helicopter shows up, does she say she has a Type B or a Type A?
Type B.
She said that he was a Type B.
Yes. She said that she doesn't have an A. She has a Type B.
See, and I thought I might have had the A and the B thing figured out. I thought maybe the A types were leader types. And that's what she saw in Negan and Rick and then Gabriel after he stood up to her. That she said, I thought you were a B. Meaning, maybe there's a C and a D or something like that, but all we've been introduced to are A and B types. So I kind of have to lead that then she figures out he's an A. But then I'm sorry, go ahead.
Maybe it's due to like the condition he's in, right?
Yeah, but she bites him. She bites him though. That's the thing. Well, maybe that is it. I would love to know what this A and B thing is, because in the case of both Negan and Gabriel, she was going to. The intention was that for them to at least get bitten.
Yeah.
So what the crap? Maybe you're right. Maybe it has to do with the health of them. Maybe a Type A is someone who's been bitten, but Type B is someone who's just injured.
Gotcha. Maybe.
I don't know. It's weird. I can't wait to find out what that all is. Unfortunately, we're probably going to wait a couple years until one of these Rick Grimes movies comes out. So, anyways, but we're not talking about that right now. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. We're not talking about that right now, though. Yeah. So he's a B at that point, and then I thought that was a little fishy, where she's like, "It's not a trick anymore," and takes the gun and throw it away. If I was the helicopter driver, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I still don't pick her up.
Yeah,
she was tricking me. She had every intention of shooting me. Yeah, I wonder what the original plan was for that. What are your feelings overall in that whole scenario?
I think Jadis is obviously, looking out for number one, but that's not an unusual personality trait in a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. But, obviously there are a lot of complications that come with shooting somebody who owns a helicopter. Because if they own another helicopter, they're going to send it looking for you.
I suppose so, and maybe she doesn't know how to drive a helicopter. Or fly, or should I say, is it drive or fly? It's fly a helicopter.
Fly, yeah. And for whatever the reason, obviously she didn't feel like she could escape the helicopter people, because otherwise why take the risk of attacking somebody, Mm-hmm. Jadis has never been one of the more violently
aggressive,
courageous. Yeah, she's never been aggressive, and she's never been particularly courageous.
No, but she's had no problem having other people do that work for her.
Yeah. but the fact that she went out of her way to, like, you know, she couldn't find somebody to bring to the chopper, so she made the decision that she's got to shoot him then, right?
Yeah.
So that means something. I don't know what it means, but it means something.
Yeah.
It's abnormal behavior from the character.
Do you think that the same helicopter, these same people, are the same? Do you think that they're involved with, like, maybe the people that we saw from the helicopter from even episode 1, season 1? And do you think it goes back that far? Whatever this group is, whatever they are.
Maybe. I definitely wouldn't have it pegged as a storyline they had planned, but, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they tie it back in canonically.
Right. Like, maybe, you know, it was fate for Rick to end up with these people at some point, seeing the helicopter in the first episode, leading him in to Atlanta and all that stuff. A little interesting note: the RV that Anna Jadis was driving.
Mm-hmm.
Oh geez, remember that episode with Tara when she goes to Oceanside? She has that guy with them. I should know his name right off the bat. I cannot think of it. And then we never see him again.
Yeah,
that's that RV.
Really?
It is, yeah. And that's something in Talking Dead that they point out. That's the same RV. What was his name? He's got such a weird name too. I'll see if I can figure it out here while you're talking next time. But yeah, so there's some connections there.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. Do you think Jadis might have been working with the people from Oceanside then?
No, I think because that was unrelated. He takes the RV and leaves, and then like some some weird
guy.
They leave some weird card. There's some weird card there, so I'll have to look into that a little bit more. It starts with an E. His name starts with an E. I can't believe I can't think of it right now. But you know who I'm talking about. Everybody knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So a little bit of tie-in there.
Yup. What did you What did you think of the like who made an appearance and who didn't, as far as Rick's visions went?
Funny you should say that. So yeah, we'll get into that now. The bulk of the episode, the fever dreams and everything that Rick was having. The moment with Herschel was probably the most touching part of the whole episode. That was great. I mean, even more so because unfortunately the actor has passed away just recently. That was great. That was great.
Powerful.
It was good to see Herschel. The stuff with Shane, that was great as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. That was
so cool.
Perfect Shane, and it fit in so well just to see like a Rick Shane conversation. And it's like, you know, if those two were in some kind of limbo, and that's exactly how that conversation would have gone. The only thing that I didn't like was the fact that Rick did not seem to push back on the fact that Shane calls Judith his baby. They don't actually know.
Yeah, neither one of them.
Yeah, so but you know they're both in his brain, which means that's basically Rick, you know, doesn't feel that it's really his kid. But Sasha was a weird choice.
Yeah, Sasha was a weird choice.
And I think there's a couple reasons for that. Maybe because she's kind of up and coming right now, she's doing some other things, or she was a fill-in for somebody else. I think that in that spot, saying those lines or something very similar, that should have either been Lori or Tyrese.
Yeah, Lori, I definitely would have bought. I was surprised we didn't see her. And I was surprised we didn't see Chandler Riggs at least do an appearance as Carl.
Won't. No, he's pissed. He won't.
Oh, is he? I don't know too much about that.
No, he's not a happy camper right now. I don't remember the actress for Lori. I think she left on decent terms. But I think Tyrese, and that's the comic book side of me maybe a little bit, because Rick and Tyrese have a much better relationship than they do in the show. But yeah, I think Lori or Tyrese would have made a better decision on that. Sasha was kind of like, okay, hi, Sasha, who didn't have much of a relationship with Rick at all.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Not that, you know, I love the character, and I love the fact that she was Shades of Andrea, filling in the gap for a lot of stuff happening in the show that was telling stories from the comic that Andrea had a role in that they had killed seasons prior. So, yeah, it was weird though. It was a really weird spot. But overall, I thought those things were really good. I thought the whole thing with the hallucinations, I thought it was all done really well. Good swerve. I when I saw parts of the replay later on in the night, it's like, yeah, you guys swerved us pretty good. You gave us a good ending, even if it's not the ending for Rick Grimes and he didn't die. It's the ending for him on this show, and it's definitely an ending of an era which has had him as front and center. They gave us a good ending to it.
Yeah, they gave us a decent ending. I still wish they'd killed him.
So you still stay. You're still on the point of they should have killed him.
They should have killed him.
I mean, I would have been fine if that's how it would have ended. I'm happy that we're going to get some more Rick Grimes action as long as it's done well.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. Like, it felt like sort of a letdown. Like it's a catharsis,
a little
right?
bit of a misdirect.
Yeah, well, and it's not consistent with the show, right? Rick has proverbially run his gauntlet, right? This whole episode was about him working out all of his stuff and coming to terms with himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once he does that, like everybody else on the show, he gets offed,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it would have been a more fitting ending. Rick Grimes is the kind of guy who will always go down fighting 100% of the time. To just sort of like, nope, psych, we decided we wanted to make a more cash grab.
Well, and I bet you that they had even shot an alternate type of ending where he does actually die.
Yeah.
I bet you a lot of that was inserted there at the end. There's probably a different way the whole thing with Jadis plays out, where she just gets in the helicopter and flies away, maybe to be seen again, but probably not. Without Rick, and because Rick is actually dead. I bet you they shot it either way, and it was probably a last minute or at some point a deal made after the fact where Andrew Lincoln's agreed for probably $10 billion to continue Rick Grimes in a series of movies. So we probably got that to some extent. We probably got most of it. I would have been good either way. I'm glad we're gonna get more Rick Grimes, but if they would have actually died, I think I would have been okay with it. So look, this was a good way to go. You couldn't have done a much better job of it. I'm
not necessarily unhappy with how it ended. It just it was not my ideal ending.
Mm-hmm. No, I can definitely see that. That being said, a couple gripes. I had to gripe about Sasha. The other big gripe I had is, look, let's talk about that for a second now. That explosion, Rick's dead.
Oh yeah, and he fell off a bridge. Come on.
The impact from that explosion alone, instant death.
Yep.
You're done.
All your internal organs have been liquefied.
Yeah, you're just done. You're dead. Now let's move past that. Then you have the fact that there are walkers immediately falling off this bridge which had just exploded. There's no walkers who are moving that close that quickly to just fall off the bridge. Good. It was a good scene. It looked really cool, but completely off track.
Yep.
So, and not to mention the fact that Rick he's going down the river. Now, let's say he is still alive. He's going down the river with all these walkers, and none of them are trying to bite him?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can't tell what's living and what's dead. They are zombies at that point. They are walkers. So, they're all just swimming down the water. So maybe that doesn't matter so much. But, the explosion was not done very well. Also, that there were people... like Jesus was there. Jesus was over at the hilltop, which is my understanding is still quite a ways away.
Yeah. It did feel very, it
was hokey.
Yeah.
It was very hokey. It was still done. It was still pretty good, but it was still also very hokey. Like most of the people that were there to see him explode and see him die, quote unquote, could be explained. Jerry, Michonne, Carol, she had just left that morning as far as the timeline goes, but actually that was quite many hours before. Maggie, Daryl, those all made sense. But some of them like Carol and Jesus, and I think there was a couple. It made no sense as to why they were there, and just should not have been at that location.
Yeah. Nah, I get you.
But overall, I enjoyed it. Are we ready to rate this? Did you have anything else you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I mean, a huge majority of the episode was just Rick and the fever dreams. So there's not a ton to analyze there.
No.
Good episode, solid send off. So yeah, I think we are ready to rate this.
All right, what are we gonna rate it? 1 out of 5. Hero's End.
Sure.
Do the Hero's End. All right, 1 out of 5 for Hero's End. It is the end of that journey for Rick Grimes. So, Jason, what do you give it?
I'm giving it a 4.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you on a 4 too.
Yep, solid 4.
Yep. I wouldn't dock him any points or half points or anything for the whole bridge thing. The Sasha thing was weird. I would like to know the reason behind Sasha, because I bet you that shouldn't have been Sasha. I bet you that was supposed to be somebody else. And it should have been. There's, like, as we listed off, there are several other people who could have done that and done better. That was kind of a weird thing. Yeah, but the rest of it was a pretty good episode. It was a good send off. I'm looking forward to see. I'm definitely next week, man. This time we don't have to wait 2.5 months. We get this time jump on Sunday. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
And we're going to review it for you, but that is going to do for now. Jason, any last words?
Yeah. I'll see you guys in 6 years.
Okay, there it is. All right, guys, that's going to do for now. Please let us know what you thought. Comment below if you liked our review. You can give us a like and subscribe. That would be great, but let us know what you thought down below. That is going to do it for now. So until next time, have a good one.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything to go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it's great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Yeah, who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.